what's the word?
Discrepancy.
My brain. Yeah. Discrepancy. I don't know. Don't discriminate against. There you go. There's the word.
It's late in the day, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of A Girl Business Podcast. I'm your host, and today with me, I have Dina Rabo, Doctor of Chiropractic.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You got it.
And she has 2 locations, and today we're filming in her new location, and this is Almanor Center for Wellbeing right here in Chester. So Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm just going to let you take it from the top and just let you introduce yourself to Plumas County.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, you got my name, so that's good. We opened up here in Chester August of 2024, and it was solely myself. It is my second location. I've been a chiropractor for 21 years now. Hard to believe, but I have always wanted to be up in Chester, or at least this area, Plumas County. I grew up in the summers here from way little. My grandparents have lived up here, kind of similar, I think, to your story how you found it. My grandparents had honestly a trailer over at Plumas Pines in the 70s. And every summer, my parents would bring my sisters and I up, and I just have the best memories of this place. My parents got a place up here, and that's how I came to just love it up here. When I was older, I always envisioned having a house up here, which we do now, my husband and I, which is awesome. And then when I went to chiropractic school, Almanor or Chester always kind of set in my mind to be a place to come. Cute, quaint, little mountain town. I had been in the big city, tried that, and anyway, it just through timing and I guess evolution and me being ready and the great opportunity happening, doors opening, we found ourselves here. So that's in a roundabout way how it came about. And now we have Dr. Gabriel Russo, who's here with us. So I am here part-time, and he's here as well during the week. So we're fully functioning Monday through Thursday. And the town has been wonderful. We see people from this area all the way, even from Reno. And I guess I can digress a little bit, go back. This has always been a chiropractic office. And it's been for, I guess, the last probably 30 years. The previous chiropractor, she was wonderful and supported the town. And the previously before that, 40 years of another chiropractor. So when the opportunity came for Karen Kramer to retire, she had reached out to me because we had talked previously. And I'm like, gosh, they're not going to have a chiropractor up here. So we had talked several times. And over the last 10 years, just trying to make it known that I was available to possibly come up and work. And, sometimes it works in timing and sometimes it just wasn't there. And then all of a sudden, my husband and I were on vacation and I get a text and the opportunity presented itself. And the building was for sale, the equipment, everything. So we just kind of jumped right in. And it was just me for the first 5 months. So it was a lot going back and forth between Chico and Chester. And then I just say, by the grace of God, a chiropractor called me for Chico and wanted a job. He wasn't ready to retire. So I hired him on. We just go month to month, and he's been working in my Chico office. And then I had worked, Dr. Russo had actually been a vacation relief doctor for me after he transitioned from his own practice in Santa Cruz and was looking to, work a little more consistently. So we had talked and he came on board here and he's been with me ever since. So it's been really a blessing. And now I just kind of float between the 2 offices.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun.
Yeah. And I like
different
that
dynamics.
Drive. Yeah.
It's a beautiful drive. It's changed a little bit with the fires, but you know what? It's still a great drive. It's not that long. The roadways are beautiful. And it's just kind of downtime. I'll throw on a podcast and throw the dog in the car and come on up or drive back down.
Yeah. It beats rush hour traffic.
Oh my gosh. And it's a different vibe. I mean, Chico's not that busy. I know it's like 80,000 people, but it's still a city. It's still, and when you come up here and you come up the hill, my husband and I always say, it's just, you can just kind of breathe a little differently. And everybody's been so welcoming. The community's great. Chester's always been a great community. And it's fun. Just getting to know the families and the people. So it's been wonderful, well received. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're having that experience so far. And like I was telling you earlier, I've been going to the other stores, and like 3 people, they were your customers.
Yeah.
Your client. Do you call them clients or
clients or patients?
Patients.
I mean,
patients.
ultimately, a lot of them become friends. And
Yeah.
I know it's funny in business, they tell you, oh, don't be friends with your client. I'm like, how can you not when you see these people all the time? And I consider myself, there's a vitalistic chiropractic where you're really trying to encourage wellness in people. And this is a lifestyle. So I see people a lot. I don't just see them when they hurt. I never wanted to be a pain relief clinic. And I'm very open with everybody. I'm like, they're all fix me, doc. And I'm just like, no, I'm not here to fix you, but I'll help you. I can't Zoom my adjustments or anything, but I always say we work as a team. And your health is your wealth. You get one body. You can replace parts, but ultimately you want to keep them. They're there for a reason. And so we really have a revolving door with patients that return and then want a better lifestyle. And I think we're at a place in society where people are really wanting to be more of their own advocate um, for taking care of themselves. I really think we're in a transition, which is kind of exciting. So,
yeah. Well, that was definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show and to talk, is because I think what you're doing is really unique. It's like a holistic approach.
It is.
So,
it is.
what was your journey to get you to that point, and what type of research have you done, and how did you get here in this?
Well,
field?
honestly, I later in life a little bit. I mean, there are colleagues of mine that have known since they've been, they grew up in a chiropractic family. I'm the first one in my family. And in fact, I told my parents I wanted to go to chiropractic school when I was, I think, 25, 27. And they were like, you want to be a quack? And I was like, oh, gosh. Okay. So I've had to even educate them. And honestly, my parents are my biggest supporters. They come in weekly and get adjusted. And I truly believe it's been life changing for them. But not to digress, but I have always been active. I'd always played sports. I transitioned after high school doing the sports into college and being a triathlete. Never any major accidents, no grand story, but I started seeing my best friend's brother is a chiropractor. And I kind of started going to see him for my own health and well being and to keep competing. And he started talking to me about going to chiropractic school. And I'm like, what is this chiropractic? And it was just the wellness lifestyle. Let the body heal itself. We all have this innate intelligence and this own doctor. If we just listen to it, it does know how to heal rather than suppress and cut out and do some other things. Not that there's not a place for medical, it's awesome, but it's not there to be, to keep us going, to fix us. So anyway, that's how I got started, and I signed up. I went to an orientation in the Bay Area to Life West Chiropractic School. I got accepted, and I went after my bachelor's degree at Chico State and started another 5 years of my doctorate. So I originally from Durham. I stayed in the Bay Area at the time because I had family also there, and I came back to Chico to open up or work under a friend's mother's office, Christine McDonald, who was another great mentor to me. Stayed there for 2 years, wasn't really ready to stay in Chico, and I wanted to go to the big city. So I ended up going to San Diego, and I worked with some friends there. And then I just got tired of the city, and I mitigated back up to the Northern California area. So I ended up buying a practice in Gridley, stayed there for about 8 years, and then eventually made it back to Chico. So I've kind of been in a couple different places, and each office space has been a little bit different. I've run it differently. But I do like the dynamics of the wellness paradigm and really incorporating chiropractic with exercise and nutrition and a lot of different other healthy aspects to maintaining the best life you can possibly lead. So I enjoy it. And it's a family affair. It's a family affair. People go, why do you adjust kids? I go, well, coming into this world is not exactly the easiest thing.
Right.
It's very stressful, intense, and it's not for neck and back pain we see children, but it's literally to help neurologically their bodies unwind and relax and adapt and transition. So it's very safe. It's very gentle. It's very different from an adult per se. So we see a lot of moms, a lot of kids, a lot of infants, a lot of pregnant women, which is exciting. More open. Again, like I said, I think people are more accepting of chiropractic these days, along with massage and acupuncture. Uh, it is a technique of manual movement, but it's not just muscle skeletal. It really is affecting the neurology, the brain to body connection. So when you explain that to people, they're like, wow, I had no idea. And it takes time a little bit to educate people about the whole picture of chiropractic, not just the bones and the muscles, but they really do get it and they feel it. And some people can't explain it, but they're just like, I don't know. I just feel good when I come in and I love it. So they keep coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I got involved.
So what are some things that you offer people? I know that you do adjustments, right? That's what
Right.
chiropractics are known for, but what are some other things that you try to incorporate?
So we do try and incorporate lifestyle changes for people. A lot of people come in and they still don't know how to eat. They're working, they're on the go. Fast food is easy. We try and incorporate. I have a lot of education around here, handouts. We talk about healthy fats, healthy choices, uh, movement. Movement is key. That's why chiropractic works so well. It is a movement to a stagnant part of your body. Uh, and studies show that when you don't move, stasis, you actually have more inflammation, you have more ailments, so to speak. You start feeling more sluggish. It's kind of a catch-22. You don't want to move because you hurt, but you need to move to some degree to get better and heal. I do lately, I've transitioned the last couple of years. I've been able to analyze blood work on a functional medicine level. So what I do with that, I'm not drawing blood or anything, but we do use lab work that people have, or I send out for, and we look at patterns. We look at weaknesses in those blood work that can be like a fingerprint to your health, and see what might be causing inflammation other than the obvious that you sprained an ankle or you've got some wear and tear, micro trauma sitting at a computer. There are things nutrient wise that people might be lacking that can explain why they're always inflamed. Believe it or not, why they're not sleeping, why they have headaches. So we can look at those things now. So I'm starting to divert that a little bit or evolve that side a little bit. I've done workshops. I love doing workshops. Stopped a little bit during the pandemic, but we're back at it in Chico. I just have to find the space and time up here to integrate workshops. Workshops involve the community. We'll take topics like how chiropractic and stress can be managed, or how to get enough healthy fats into your system to help with inflammation. What are some safe exercises to do, or modified movement? Being healthy is really easy. It's just a personal choice whether you want to participate or not. So those are some of the different things. I utilize red light laser and some other technology. Not all chiropractors do. I do because they help with the healing. It all has to do with frequency, just everyone's at frequency. And if you're trying to heal, but your body is a little suppressed or compromised, it just is a safe way of expediting the cell to heal. And it's non invasive. So I do use some red light therapy. We have different tables that help utilize movement with some people, and instrumentation. So there's a lot of techniques in chiropractic.
Yeah.
And everyone is a little bit different, but I do utilize a little bit of everything because everybody is different.
Yeah.
So yeah, so those are some of the things that, and I think it's just a place that people enjoy. We have usually some videos playing, some family movies. Um, it is kind of a brightly lit office, a little different dynamics. People come in and they see Joe from their neighbor, or like you said, from the car wash or another store, and hey Chuck, how are you? Hey, Mindy. And it's kind of fun. You hear all the banter going on out here. And then my office CA Samantha gets in on it. So it's a fun little community. So it's a little tribe, and I think people like that, the relationship. So that makes it fun.
Yeah.
So
how did you know? I guess everything kind of just clicked into place with taking on a second location, but were you nervous to do that? Because that's a big jump.
So it was a big jump.
What were some factors that led you to say, okay, I need to do this?
It just was serendipitous. It honestly, I had tried so many times. looking at places, talking to people. And this honestly, it just was meant to be. We were on vacation visiting my husband's family, and I got a text from the previous chiropractor, and she's just like, I'm ready to retire. Do you want the place? And we obviously talked and negotiated and did some things, and it was easy. It was at a time when things were really flowing at my office in Chico. Like I said, I've been 21 years doing it. We had systems down, and I had some opportunities. And time wise, I figured, well, I could take myself out of there a day and make it work up here. And so I actually did 2 days because I wasn't working Fridays down there, and then I added Mondays. So it was just me, and it was a lot. I'm not going to lie. It was hustle. I mean, when you're in business for yourself, you need to have a good team. So I had a good team down there, and I was hiring for an office gal up here, and she happened to be transitioning up here to get married, and it worked out. It was easy. So my mom has always said, when it's meant to be, things open, doors open. And that's what was happening. And we just jumped and did it and didn't go back. We're still transitioning and have some different ideas, but I just knew that you can't have a town without a chiropractor. I mean, between here, I think, or Chico and Reno, there is one, or there have been two in Susanville. There would have been nobody, and I just felt it was the right time.
Yeah.
So now we have, like I said, two different doctors, one in each office. That's been very helpful. Did I think I would be managing a whole team between two offices? No, definitely not. But I think God had other works in mind for me. And like I said, it's been great. It's been wonderful. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Were there any
Thank you.
times where you were like, maybe I shouldn't have done this, or any panic modes?
Yes, there were. I don't know if panic, but there was second guessing a little bit. I don't know about second guessing. I just hesitancy, or like, oh man, it's just me. My husband was one of my biggest supporters. And he said, you can do this. And we just kept talking about it and moving forward. And he's very handy. So we were able to get a lot done in a short amount of time.
Mhm.
So, and we just kept getting great support from the community. We'd see people or neighbors, and like, are you open yet? And I go, no, not quite yet. Let us know when you're open. We'll be there. Had somebody ride up on his bike and welcome us. So while we were getting things ready. So it was really, I was like, man, this is meant to be. This is really, it's meant to be. And so that's how we just kept moving forward. Yeah. So there's always trepidation, sure.
Yeah.
But I guess the good things and the movement forward outweighed the not moving forward.
So let's talk about how this all came about. You said you were in your 20s when you
Mhm.
said, okay, I want to go to school. What were you doing before that?
I was working for a family business. My parents had Golden Empire Candy, which was a wholesale business way before even Costco was around. But then they saw with Costco coming in, I was a marketing position in their business and did some sales. And I really liked it. I enjoyed it, but I have always been health minded. I was more sales of confections and uh, products that you would see in convenience stores. It just wasn't my calling. I was open with my parents, and they understood, and they let me go, and they just said, you got to do what you got to do. I just felt this calling to be a chiropractor. I was looking at nutrition as going through a nutrition major. I'd already graduated from business in Chico State. I was looking at going back to kinesiology, and it was just a good fit. It was 4 years I knew of, chiropractic study, physiology, chemistry again. But at the time, that was just where I was. I liked the idea of helping the body help itself without anything else. And I really thought I could add to helping my family. I could see my grandparents getting older, and I didn't want the reliance on medication. I don't know where that came from because, like I said, I'm the first one in my family, but I was just more health oriented to a healthier body, and now even more in nervous system. And nobody knew that term, honestly, in the lay public 15 years ago, maybe even 10. But after, I feel like COVID and all this stuff that's happened, people are really awake. They're awakening anyway to, man, I got to take care of myself because otherwise it's going to be a rough road. So it just, I don't know, it was just something of a drive. Maybe it was a God thing, but it's something that I just followed my desire and instinct to do. So, and it was a great community in school. It was, about 1,300 students. They're small, maybe smaller now, I don't know, but great community of teachers, professors, lifelong friends. I still keep in touch with about a dozen. Not every day, but once a year, twice a year. See people at conferences, seminars. And I think now with the whole, they call it the Maha movement, with Robert Kennedy Jr., make America healthy again. There's a lot of dynamics, a lot of change. And I think chiropractors are going to be more sought after now than ever, along with other alternative care practitioners, anything from naturopathic doctors to acupuncturists to holistic healers. I mean, I think now is the time that we're really going to see a lot of growth. And it's exciting. It's exciting because the younger generation's more open to it. And so is the more mature generation, definitely. Mm-hmm. So it's been wonderful these last couple of years, especially. So
definitely. Yeah. Big shifts.
Yeah, in society, big shifts. That's a good way to say it. Yeah. And I think it's just going to grow. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I know.
So what kind of schooling do you have to go through to become a doctor of, and I keep getting hung up on this, but it's a doctor of chiropractic?
Doctor of chiropractic. Okay. Yes. So now I believe you go in with a Bachelor of Science and usually the healing arts in the way of physiology or chemistry or kinesiology, exercise, anything, nutrition. Mm-hmm. And then it's 4 years, it's a doctorate. So you're in 4 years of strictly chiropractic school, which again, you're doing the study of anatomy, physiology. I mean, we worked with cadavers for a year.
Are those dead bodies?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh my God, were you like adjusting dead bodies?
No. Oh just learning just learning the anatomy parts. So between the vascular system, your, the musculoskeletal system, mostly learning the orientation of origin insertion. So chiropractic involves the spine and the bones, but it's also involving the nervous system. So how does everything intricately work? It's like a wiring system. You're working with the brain, mm-hmm. which you're affecting neurology, which is very cool. We're having an effect on vasodilation, getting blood flow to and from an injured site or a repairing site. So it's very dynamic and it's very broad. And yeah, so you're really affecting a lot of things. You're affecting moods, emotions, heart rate and rhythm, all kinds of functional human body systems that you don't really think about. And people are like, oh, come on, crack me, doc. And I'm like, oh, okay. let's back up a little bit. And I'll usually let them get away with that for a little bit. And they go, okay, well, this is really what's going on. And it is an education process. And I will say it takes a little more when you're a vitalistic chiropractor to just encourage people, to help them understand a little bit more about what we do. And then they're like, huh, okay, I had no idea. So, but anyway, the schooling is, 4 years. It's a doctorate. And then we do it's not we do a clinical setting that's about a year.
After the...
well, it's combined into the schooling.
Okay.
And some people do it after if they don't have their hours. It's all based on hours. Kind of like a residency with a medical doctor. We just don't do the pharmacology. In the state by state, some of the boards, the laws are different. Like I think in the state of Oregon, you can deliver babies.
As a chiropractor?
Mm-hmm. You're taught obstetrics. Obstetrics. In the state of California, though, we can't break the skin, and we can't prescribe medication, which is fine. That is what makes us a chiropractor uniquely different. That philosophical viewpoint that let the body heal the body, help the body heal the body itself. Mm-hmm. But it does vary a little bit, and it's pretty much standard state to state. But there are some different state boards. We go through 4 state boards. And national boards, if I'm saying it right. It's been a while. You do have to go through a licensure for x-ray. Not all chiropractors do have x-ray. I've always worked at the x-ray. I just feel it's to the patient's benefit. And honestly, to mine, it's a safety precaution nowadays. Not a lot of people have a primary care doctor. And so I want to be sure, any contraindications that we're safe about it. But some techniques, are not manual. There's a lot of instrument involved, or there's even non-force techniques. There's a lot of different uniqueness to it. So you don't necessarily need to x-ray. It's just my choice. So there's a lot of school, contrary to what a lot of people think. So, and we're doing continuing ed 24 units every year. There's a lot.
That's
So
a lot of units.
We keep, yeah, it's gone from 16 to 24.
That's a lot of units.
It's a lot.
And you have to do that every year.
Every year. Not 2 years, every year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, which is fine. I mean, you keep learning. You just keep learning. So, yeah. It's definitely not for the faint of heart.
Right.
So, and yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I feel like you morph if you're in anything for any length of time. You kind of transition. Um, so I feel like, it was a perfect timing again to expand a little bit. And more recently, I'm trying to think of something new. I'm in the middle of training a therapy dog. And that's been kind of fun.
Oh, you want to bring him in?
I can bring him in.
Yeah.
I think I hear him snoring.
His name?
Hondo.
Hondo. Let's meet Hondo, guys. I would freak out if I saw a dead ball. Freak out. Hi, Hondo.
Yeah.
So tell us about Hondo.
So Hondo's about 6.5, almost 7 months old. He's just waking up, folks. And he's in the middle of training to be a therapy dog. And how this came about, I've never had a small dog, never had a Frenchie. He's a Frenchie.
Oh, poor guy.
And, since the pandemic, I've had a lot of teachers come in that have incorporated therapy dogs. And they're welcome in the office, obviously. And I was like, man, this is a really cool concept. And I just saw the dynamics of some of these dogs. They would be close to their owner, or others would be allowed to walk around, and they just walk around. I'd watch them walk around the tables, and I'd watch the interaction with my patients. And they'd come up and pet him and just lighten up. It was just different. And it was just such a good vibe. I was like, oh my gosh. And I kind of was talking to my husband for about a year or so. And I was like, it would be great to have a therapy dog. And we had older dogs, bigger dogs. And then they have since passed. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to invest in a dog, a little small dog, and be an office dog. And I'll tell you, he's still in training, like I said. But he is just the most chill dog, and he is so good. It's almost like he's intuitive with patients. He'll just sit. Even here, I bring him up and he'll just walk up cautiously and lick the patient's hands. And it helps patients open up and relax, obviously. Who wouldn't love a little dog coming in? Most people. And then with some of the kids, too, that are very quiet and reserved, and some of them are here to get adjusted. Some are just with mom or dad. And it just brings them out of their shell. So I like to see that, and it makes work fun. The staff enjoy it. It gives them a little break every once in a while. They get to go see Hondo. And he's just a character. So I guess we just wanted to incorporate a little guy. He's my little travel buddy to and from both offices. Mm-hmm. So it was just, again, that timing. And a friend of mine is the one that was the breeder, and I saw her post, and I was just like, and I've been, seeing her dogs for a while. So it just worked out. She's like, we're having babies. And I'm like, okay, we're going to get one. So save one for us. And he has been so good. Quick learner. And just, I think he was meant for this. He just, dude, he's pretty chill. He's pretty chill.
Oh, I love his little collar. His collar has like mountains on it.
Yeah.
Oh, Hondo, how cute.
I know.
So is there like a special training program that
there
you
is through? So Resolute dog training. I'll lay it down.
Good night, Hondo.
Oops. Sadie, I'm blinking on her last name right now. In Chico, she's been around for quite some time, and she does therapy in service dogs. So I was learning about what the difference is. A service dog has to have one trait, like they're with their owner, or for OCD or seizures, or something's unique to them that's more specific. And it's, I believe, a one-person dog. A therapy dog is more of a group setting. They're trained still. They go through testing and certification. Each state is different, but they've got to be proven that they're approachable, non-confrontational, obey commands, good with people. And he just passed his good citizenship for the AKC. So I'm just learning as I go. I'm like posting and telling my friends are like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I go, I didn't either, but I'm learning. So it's been fun, and he's just a great little, I'd say, joy to have around, whether we're at home or the offices. It's really nice, especially people that don't have anybody or they don't have pets anymore. They love to come in. I've got one gal, she comes and picks them up. She's like, can I go get them? I go, sure. And she just holds them for a while after her day of work. And so that's really gratifying to see. And to be honest, I never thought about it, but it really has helped with their adjustments because they're relaxing.
Oh,
They're a
that's
little
true.
more
Their muscles are.
joyful, a little more relaxed. They don't come in all tense from work or their day. So that's been just a perk to having him around. So it really does help, obviously, with morale. But I'm like, it really helps with them relaxing and adjusting.
That makes sense.
I know. So I didn't even think of that before, but he's been great for that. And then it's just been nice because I know with seeing people that I see, I know that, either they've lost a spouse or they've lost their dog. And when they come in and see him, it's just like, that's so cool. And they're like, oh, I can come see him.
Yeah. He's like a little mascot.
He is. I know. Hondo Man. My husband thinks I should have a little doctor's outfit or smock with him and put his name on.
Oh, I totally agree. That's a great idea.
So I have to figure something out. Yeah. So that's been fun. That's been more recent, but he's been a good one for the office morale. I'll say he's our cheerleader
for sure. How'd you guys think of his name?
Maverick on Top Gun. I don't know, and John Wayne. My dad's always been a John Wayne guy, and I just thought you always want, like, I think they say a 2-syllable and a kind of a strong name, and for commands and whatnot. I thought we were watching the movie one night, and Hondo was one of the side guys in Maverick, and I'm like, that's going to be the name of our next dog.
Yeah, it's perfect for him.
It really is. It fits him.
Yeah, it does.
It fits him. And then I saw John Wayne again. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Hondo, John Wayne. So, and then somebody else said, oh, you named him after the cute guy in SWAT. I go, okay, sure. I don't know who that is, but yeah.
Pick whichever one
right.
most resonates.
So it fits. It really does. And then we call him Hoover at home because he's just always hungry. He's a scrapper. So, but he's got a couple names.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's been the latest one just to kind of take around.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said it was your girlfriend that breeds them?
Yes.
Does she normally breed like for therapy dogs?
No, not at all. I told her this was something I was going to do.
Yeah.
Not at all. She's just had a really mild manner females, and they just turned out, a couple of the litters have been really just chill, and I didn't want to bark her as a small dog either.
Right.
I honestly, no, not at all. You can pretty much make a therapy dog out of any dog as long as they've got the great mannerism. I mean, they do run them through. There's a qualification that he really didn't even have to go through because he was so good at it. Mm-hmm. But they'll do, I think, a little bit of a qualification to see if they're a good candidate to be a therapy dog. Obviously, if they're too hyper or high strung or bark, unless it can be trained out of them, I think, some are better than others. Right. But since being in the course, there are all kinds of dogs. I used to think they had to be golden retrievers for one. But no, they can be a little chihuahua. They can be a big mastiff. It really just depends on the mannerism. And it just depends on, as far as time, it could be 4 months or it could be a year or 2 years. It depends on how the dog progresses through the testing. Mm-hmm. So,
does he have much training left?
I don't know. I'm going to say no.
Fine.
He's, he maybe up through his first year just to see how he does. I don't quite know yet. The tests are possibly monthly to every couple months. It really depends on his advancements, like if he passes the next test. Some they do basic commands. They have you walk through cones as if you're walking through an airport. Do they follow behind? So we do a lot of obstacles during just general trainings. We do private and then we do group setting. And I think it's honestly just up to the dog from what I've read about. So there's really not a cutoff time. Yeah, well, so I think he's going to go pretty fast.
Yeah, so
he's been 1 month, 1.5, and we did some other training in Chico, just basic puppy training. But yeah, both trainers were like, "Are you sure this is a Frenchie?" because I haven't had a Frenchie this well mannered. So I'm like, yeah, I think so. I think he's just meant to be a good little therapy dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And earlier you said that you also ride horses, right? So you're just an animal girly.
Yeah, I know. Didn't grow up on a farm though, but I've had a horse. Got a quarter horse, Sierra. Just trail, just ride for fun. It's kind of my let down. He's snoring again. Can you hear him? So yeah, just never have really competed. I did maybe one or two gymkhana like obstacle things when I was younger, but I had a babysitter that was really into horses, and one day told my parents I wanted lessons when I was like 13, and they said okay. So they worked something out with me, and then turned out I ended up buying one of her horses when she sold it, and so I've always had a horse. Got Had to sell one of mine during when I went away to college, but I got back into it after college, and I'm like, yeah, I could do a horse again, and it was through a patient. It was through a patient. Kind of a cool story. Him and his wife became friends, and he knew I was into horses, but I hadn't had one at the time. This was when I had my Gridley office, and I think it was whenever the market crash was, 2006 or whatever.
Yeah.
He was a custom pool guy, put in custom pools, did a great job. Had him and his wife had like 7 or 8 horses. He's like, Dina, I got to get rid of some of my horses. He's like, I think I've got one for you. And I go, Jerry, I don't know if I want to buy a horse or if I'm in the realm for a horse again. He's like, you got to just come out and look at this horse. I call her my God horse. She's beautiful. She's a paint. She's got 2 blue eyes. She's really helped me with a lot of stuff. And I go, she was my wife's horse. And I can't sell her because she had fractured her tibia when she was a filly, and he did therapy with her since he was a pool guy. He looked into it. It was a clean break. The vet just said, you never know how they're going to age. She might be a little lame early on. So he's like, I can't really sell her. I don't know how she's going to grow or how she's going to mature. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So I took my dad, I go, Dad, come with me out and look at this horse. They were out not too far from Durham. And so he hadn't ridden her in a year. She was just a pasture horse with all their other horses. I get out there, and he's all, go ahead and get on her. Brought her into the arena. I go, no, you get on her. Because I've had some bad experiences with horses drugged up just to ride and stuff like that. And he's all, okay. So he got on her. She was fine. I go, are you sure you haven't ridden her, Jerry, in a year? And he's like, I'm serious. She's a great horse. She's had a ton of training, and she's a special horse. She had helped him at the time get sober, clean up his act, and he met his wife at the time, girlfriend, wife, and he's like, she's a great horse. So I'm like, okay, I'll get on her. Rode her. She was awesome, on cue with everything. And I go to my dad. I go, what are we gonna do? I go, I don't have it. We don't have a place to keep her. I don't even have a trailer. And he's like, we'll just tie her up to the yard. That was my dad. I go, yeah, Mom will like that. Anyway, so I ended up taking her home later that weekend, and she was 16 at the time. She's 26 now. She might have been a little younger, but great horse. Just good old trail horse. So
what's her name?
Sierra.
Yeah. And he said that was like his God horse.
Yeah. So it was real, and he just gave her to me. He's like, I just want her to go to a good home. Just promise me you'll ride her every week and love on her. And so I have, and she's great. Yeah.
And so is riding horses like your relaxing activity?
Yeah, I would say so. It's just kind of where I keep her now is at a place north of Chico, and she's a kind of a lesson horse because there's a lot of Arabs around. It's Sheltering Oak Farms, and they work with kids in therapy. So that's Pam and Alex. I was going to tell you they'd be interesting to interview, mother daughter, and they've done some wonderful things. And they just wanted a good, solid quarter horse. Now they have several other ponies and some other Icelandic ponies that are fun to ride. But really nice facility, and she gets ridden by the kids. Worked with teenagers. Some are just in handling the horses, just social mannerisms and character posture, trying to help young people be more confident. So they work with these big animals or smaller big animals, and it's really interesting to see. And she's great for that. So yeah.
Well, that's good that you have an outlet because
yeah,
I mean, it's a lot. You're doing all this driving. You have 2 locations.
Yeah.
Your wife. Do you have kids?
No kid. I have a stepson. He's
stepson?
20. He's 21, 22 now. And my husband farms in Chico. But we come up here even before this place. We came up here. I met him and he found Almanor. And he's like, he wanted to be up here all the time. So I was up here a lot more. Um, so that started already. We would come up every weekend. So it really, the only adjustment was running the second office.
Yeah.
Which is a big adjustment.
Right, right.
But we still spend a lot of time up here regardless. So it's been nice. And some people said, "Oh, it's going to change things." And I think it obviously it has, but I still enjoy it. I still like coming up here. It's like I'm working 1 or 2 days. It was 2 days and now I'm down to 1 day, but it's still the trees and the people. Again, it's different. It's
Right.
just a different environment and it's just laid back and cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get to work and then I go home, and on the summer, we take the boat out. In the winter, we just might, hang out by the fire, do some reading, do some snowshoeing, but it's nice. So it's different dynamics, which I think that makes the whole thing work also. So
doesn't feel like work as much.
Yeah, it's different. It is different. So, and it's nice working now with two doctors. It's nice to have the camaraderie. I've wanted that for a long time. So that's been actually nice. And it gives people different dynamics. It's always about them. It's about, you getting the care you need. It doesn't matter whether it's me or Dr. Russo or Dr. Moore. It's about you getting the care. And the beauty of it is we're all so differently unique. So many different, techniques in chiropractic. Like I said, I think there's over 200, but we all have that wellness foundation. And it's to everybody's benefit because they can get and see a different way of healing or a therapy that works for them differently than my therapy. I mean, I'm not the end all be all, but I think it's more the philosophy of continuing that wellness paradigm with everybody and education and incorporating some other lifestyle changes. And, we all three have different experiences and ways of getting or attaining that wellness lifestyle. So that's been good. And I've learned from them. So hopefully they've learned from me a little bit. Definitely learned from them and just creates another dynamic to everything.
It seems like this field, being a doctor of chiropractic, it seems like there's a lot of camaraderie in the field. Has it always been that experience for you?
I don't know. My experience has been, I think, like any profession, there can be some competition that's probably not so healthy. But I have some close friends and I get adjusted. There's kind of this known, what's the term? But to get adjusted, I don't know if dentists have it, but I'll go to several colleagues in Chico to get adjusted myself. I mean, I'm on it once a week or once every couple weeks, sometimes once every 3 weeks, whatever it is. But I'll go to, so and so's because I know their hours are open an hour earlier than me, or, Candace is open on this day and I'm not open, so I can get in there. So we all appreciate that. And I know that's a different dynamic because I don't have another family member that's a chiropractor yet. So I have to utilize my colleagues and it's been fun. It's been great. We had an idea to maybe do a rotating doctors up here because this is such a beautiful recreational area. Like have a doc come up here for a month and work and live. Um, we just haven't gotten to that yet. I don't know.
That's a great idea.
It is a great idea. It's really unique. Whether we get another rental or utilize this space because it's a house and an office, I feel like it can offer a different dynamic. Like say you and your family want to come here, or if it's a single person, and you love fishing. Well, hey, there's Lake Almanor, work 3 or 4 days a week and go fishing 3, or snow, whatever, skiing in the summer. It's not Tahoe, but you can go to Reno. So yeah, I don't know. That was an idea that crossed our minds too, because it is a unique little recreational place.
I think that's an amazing idea because it would bring people to the area.
Yeah.
And it's like a way to experience semi-retirement.
Exactly.
Or like a little refresh.
Yeah. Yeah. Or somebody that isn't wanting to retire. Exactly. Semi-retire. Or maybe that, like Dr. Russo was just transitioning around and being a vacation relief doc. He's like, man, I really kind of want to have a home base now. So I'm like, let's talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, it worked out. So we'll see what happens in the near future.
Yeah, I think that's That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
It's really unique.
Yeah.
It could be like an Airbnb, but for
doctors. For chiropractors. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like you get the traveling nurses and whatnot. And so, yeah, we'll see.
Well, keep me updated.
It's an option.
I think that is a really unique idea.
Yeah.
So when you went through school, not to jump back to it, but did you have to write a dissertation, or is there like a big test at the end?
It's the national boards. It's your 4-part state boards that you have to do. So we have to pass all of those before you even get your license and finish your schooling, complete all of your chiropractic units and hours in internship, and then pass all 4 state boards before you can even get licensed. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
And then whether or not you want to have your own x-ray, there's that certification as well. So.
And did you have to get any other certifications for like the holistic approach, or would you call it a holistic approach? Or
well, the chiropractic would be the holistic approach. That, I mean, it's a doctorate, but it's holistic. There are, like, say there's different techniques. There's core curriculum taught within each chiropractic college. And then there's actually other techniques, like there's a whole sports therapy chiropractic certification, and that's another year. It might be different now, and you have to go take a test after you do so many hours in that, and then you're sports certified chiropractor. So a lot of chiropractors that want to work with sports teams will go on to do that, or you want to be specific with what would be another one, neurology. There's a big kind of another sector with neurology, and it's specific adjusting working different sides of the brain, specific adjustments, different sides of the body. That's an intense course. I don't even know what that certification is. It's probably a couple of years, but everyone can go. I think you can go at your own pace. It's just there is that final test you have to take to get another, degree or initials behind your name. So there's the core curriculum of the chiropractic that encompasses the core techniques. It might be 3 or 4. And then as an individual, you can go seek out other certifications, continuing through your life. I mean, there are colleagues and people I've listened to that have like 12 different letters after their names. So, that is always an option as well. So, who knows?
Do you have any plans to expand into anything else, or what was your favorite sub-study?
I really like nutrition. I'm really liking nutrition and pairing blood work. Not for just taking, A and C and vitamin B12, but really looking at the nutritional levels of blood and patterns that can really help, like thyroid patterns. Thyroid medication will never fix the thyroid. It'll manage the imbalances. So what can you do before having to rely on medications for the rest of your life that you can see early on in functional blood normal levels, that you can help supply those nutrients, or food changes or stress changes, because the nervous system is compromised mentally, physically, emotionally, on all those levels. So I've always been big with nutrition. I do like that. Whether it's whole foods, obviously, if you can get that, but the food sources have changed now. Everything's picked early, everything's modified. Many things are modified. An apple today doesn't look like an apple did in the 20s,
right,
or even before that. So everything's bigger and better, and
right,
more sugar. Yeah, and not even GMOs, but just sweeter. Like, yeah, whatever. It's manipulated. So who's to say what organic is anymore?
Yeah, that's true.
So you just don't know. So I figure the concept of, if you can help your body on its own as holistically as you can, keep the parts you have, you're going to be better off. Keep moving, you're going to be better off. So that's the whole premise, I think. Just, again, it's not that hard. It's just, it does take a little bit of energy.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it does. So you can't be a lazy sloth. You can, but then you'll probably go this way instead of this way. So,
do you have an endocrinologist that you work with or that you refer patients to?
You know what? I don't. There's been different doctors over the years when I moved. And I'll be honest, after the COVID and pandemic and everything, there were a lot of doctors that retired. So there are orthopedists I do work with or have had relations with, and a lot of them have changed. but I'm always, in this area, it's newer to me. So honestly, we opened in August and then we went through the winter, and it's kind of like everybody holds up in the winter. So now is the time where I'll probably go out to Seneca, some of the hospitals, some of the other Chester Wellness Center, and just, get to know people, introduce myself. Because I think a lot of people still don't know word gets around, but it's still building on those relationships. And people cycle out or cycle through and move and retire. So it's constantly building some of those relationships, which I need to do my part in too as well. Because I think it can be cohesive, just be open, to different concepts. So definitely that's always a work in progress. So,
and it's a much different dynamic trying to do that in a town like this that's very seasonal compared to in a larger town like Chico.
Sure. But it also can be to an advantage because everybody does know everybody, and your name gets around, and you start, sharing patients with the local practitioners. So it's definitely advantageous to get to know them. Yeah. At least introduce and let them know, hey, this is what I do. This is what I might be able to help with. This is maybe how we can work together. Um, you know, so there's always that. And it's definitely more open, I think, these days than it used to be, where there's the chiropractors and then there's a medical. I mean, there's still different dynamics for sure, different philosophies, but I think the younger generations coming up, we're more adapt and open would be the word, to different therapies and different ways of lifestyle, if it's for the benefit of the patient we're working with, the person we're working with. I think that's really what it comes down to. So,
have you had any bad experiences where a patient had a primary or maybe another?
Oh, sure. I mean, I get patients that are, oh, my doctor told me not to go to a chiropractor. I've got arthritis. I go, I know you do. That's why I take x-rays. That's why we're going to do it this way. That's why we're going to leave the neck alone manually, and we're going to do instrument maybe. So yeah, there's an old school of thought, I think. But again, it's changing, and I think it's changing for the better. I think, again, with awareness. I think awareness, if when medical doctors realize we're not there to hurt anybody, and we do our parameters of examination, whether we have x-ray or not, there is a protocol of care to assess the patient, if you're doing it legitimately. So we are trained in that, to be aware of contraindications, and we're not just going under crack and walk, take people off the street. I think that's an old way of thinking and knowing, and so that is changing. And I'm sure there's still some that have their dogma, of what we are and what we do. But again, I'm hopeful that the dynamics are different, and the more we're more aware of things and helping the patients, ultimately what it's about. So I'm optimistic about it.
Yeah. Are there any stigmas about your field that you find yourself combating a lot, or that you would like people to know, like, hey, this isn't true, like, don't be scared to come check us out?
I think there still are stigmas or assumptions that I'm a bone cracker or whatnot. And when I was young and I was going, oh, I'm not a bone cracker. But nowadays it's like, okay, listen to what they have to say. This is what they grew up with. This is what they know. Don't condemn them the first time. Give them a chance to understand what I do and see that, hey, I am doing an exam and assessment. We are taking some x-rays. I'm explaining things as I go. And then they're like, huh, okay, she's legit. I still get kind of the go through, like, what does she do, or let's see how good she is, and we still get that. I think I even talk to some colleagues, there's apprehension there. No, I don't know about touching my neck. I go, I know, we've all seen bad movies, but we won't go there today.
or the YouTubes where it's like,
I know the YouTubes.
The crazy adjustments.
You either get people that come in and go, oh, doc, can you do me like that? Can you crack my neck? And I go, no, I'm really not the person for you at this point. But let's talk about this, what we can do and what other things. Yeah, there's that too. I don't know, probably monthly, I still get something like that. Yeah. But I'm just a little more, I'll go home to my husband and say, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what I got today. But in the realm of the office setting, I'm just like, like, fix me, doc. I'm like, okay, well, let's explain a few things. This is really teamwork. I'm really here to work with you to help you make some better changes, and let's see what we can do together to get you from here to here. And if it's addressing pain, for sure, let's get that pain under control. But then let's also address the ongoing inflammation. Let's address this weight you're carrying. Let's address your sedentary lifestyle, or so we go from there. You baby step it. You baby
Mm.
step it all the way. And I always say a joke. I should write a book on baby steps to your health or something like that. But
Oh, you
you do.
should.
Yeah, I know it comes out every once in a while. But you're not going to change paradigms in a day. I'm not going to heal you in a day.
Right.
There are those miracles. There are some cool miracles with chiropractic. Still, I get it, but it takes effort and energy. Nobody ended up like this overnight. Even
Right.
if you were in a car accident, there were other things along the way that probably have challenged your health, your well-being. Um, so I'm just open and honest about it.
What are some small things that people can do if you wanted somebody who's watching this episode to take away just one or two things?
About chiropractic or
Or
what you can do to start just with your health.
yeah, just like
Move your body.
move your body.
Move your body. I get it. It's hard. We've all been there. When you hurt, it hurts to move, but just baby steps. Okay. So if you've been sitting in the couch all day, let's go get a glass of water to the kitchen sink and walk around the living room, you know. Um, what would be some other things? Say you eat on the go, you got a logging job and you're between towns, but maybe take some time. If your wife or you go out to the grocery store, grab some nuts, grab some fruit that can stay in your truck for a little bit, an apple. Have some water in a canteen for you instead of grabbing the Gatorade or the soda or the ongoing coffee frappuccinos. Have some snacks on you. Anybody can do that, but movement is key. So just start with baby steps. I know if you've got a lot of weight on, it's the motivation. It's got to be something to motivate you. So like say if you go move, what's something that you're gonna reward yourself with? Not a pizza. But I don't know, planning a little bit of a trip or getting together with a friend. Even make it fun to go do something versus I got to do this on my own. Go to coffee then and get a nice tea, but meet a friend out to go move around. Go for a little walk in the local park, or here you got a beautiful lake. Or just go for a drive. Even if you're stuck in the house and it's winter out, I don't know, just go for a drive. Little baby steps, just something in a better direction.
Yeah, because
you
it
know
can be hard to
it
get
can be hard,
started.
and it does take some preparation. I know I get moms and single women and realtors that are on the go, and we're all busy. You can't use busy anymore because we're all busy, and myself included. But I keep nuts in my car and water. Um, I move not just for my profession, but I do work out. I'm not at the gym. I have a home garage, and I'll be honest, some days I'm in there twice a week, but I'll go in for 10 minutes versus anything. I don't think you need to be in the gym for an hour, 3, 4 days a week. I think you just need to do something consistently and you will start to break your patterns. And that's the way I teach chiropractic. We're just trying to break your patterns, your neurologic brain to body patterns from an unhealthy state to a healthy state. And I think when you explain it like that, people can grasp it. So,
Well, I know for me, I have two Shepherd Husky mixes,
uh-huh.
and they won't let me sit on the couch all day.
They want to walk.
Right.
They want to move.
So that was like really probably one of
Yeah.
the best things I did. I got a breed of dog that I knew was going to force
Yeah.
me to, even if it's just take them on a little walk
Even
around
if
the
it's
block.
10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Right.
But you're doing it consistently because they're going to drive you nuts and chew up your
Oh my
furniture if you don't take
gosh.
them out.
I love Mocha and Coffee. If you little
Mocha
puppies
and
are,
Coffee.
yeah, that's their name.
That's
If you
cute.
pups are watching this, I love you to death, but you guys are maniacs.
That's good though. But you know what? That is a good point because there are a lot of people in this town that have dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and most of them are out getting exercise. So in the winter, when it's snowing, you don't snowshoe or just whatever. They're walking their dogs cautiously, or they're chopping firewood. So I'm like,
Oh yeah, that's a lot of
go
exercise.
get an axe. Don't use the wood splitter. Go chop a few pieces of wood. Go squat and get some wood. Make more trips into the house. Don't carry it all at once, but go make some trips. So you got to go out there 3 and 4 times. And it's just that they don't even think about it. And then they're like, oh, I can do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's awesome. That counts. Again, you do not have to be at a gym. You can do these physical, everyday house and movement things that are that count.
Yeah.
So I think it's great.
Yeah, I think especially like with social media and just our culture kind of stresses like gym, get in the gym, get in the gym. But
Yeah,
there's a lot of other options to move your body, just like you were saying.
totally. And especially again up here, when we're in a community that's more of a mountain town, there's not a big fancy gym. There's a gym, but it's a beautiful place to get outside too.
Mhm.
So spring and summer, there's a lot to do.
A lot of trails.
Lot of
I
trails.
love the trails out here.
Oh, the trees, the lake, just even to go down by the lake, bring your dog, go park. Yeah, bring a chair and go throw a stick. You
Mhm.
know, go fishing. So not only are you doing physical, but you're doing some mental stress release too, right? Best thing you can do is get out into negative ions, into nature. That's one of the best things and most important things for people to de-stress. So get out of your home environment and get outdoors.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the best things you can do.
What are some success stories that you've had with clients?
Oh gosh, there's quite a few. I would say a couple recent ones have been I I like ones where I've had little kids, little infants brought in by mom or dad. Some come into this world like normal pregnancy and whatnot. Um, one was really a really traumatic birth, and so mom and dad brought the baby in, and he's he's thriving. I mean, just to where he was kind of, we call it wind up, and you could just see in the neck and the mannerisms. He was fine, so they say, but it's just those things that once I started working with him, you could just see his body unwind, neck come up, and um, that happened with another one too. I worked with a nurse down in Chico. First child, she had never been to a chiropractor. She had actually had some spinal surgery, no fusion. They just cauterized around the disc, which is where they just kind of clean up where there's bone spurs. And she happened to bring her baby in while she was getting adjusted. And she was, I think, about 3 weeks old. And I go, why don't you let me adjust? Has she ever been adjusted? She goes, why would you adjust her? And I go, well, birth can be traumatic, and it's fast. You're going through the pelvic floor, and then all of a sudden here he is in this bright world. And I go, just what I do is finger moves. I just check, palpate. Let's just see. I look at head rotation. I look at leg length, and she's all, I'm game. She totally was. So I laid Sophie out on the table, and I was just looking at her, happy kid. And the only thing I really did notice is she was like a turtle. And so we just did a little finger lift around the cervical spine, neck, and I could just feel her kind of let go. And then her feet kind of just, her toes went out like this. And that was honestly all I did. They're very subtle little adjustments.
You're not like
you're
doing
not
the
cracking,
YouTube.
you're not doing the YouTube.
The
No,
YouTube special.
You're not doing the YouTube. So big old side posture. No. So it was very subtle, and just you observe and you let go, and you observe and let go, and then that was it. And I put her back in her seat, and I went to adjust mom. And while I'm adjusting mom, I see this little girl, Sophie. So she was about 3 weeks old, I think, and her head starts to do this like an ostrich, and she's literally lengthening, and you could see the red crinkles from her being like this for 3 weeks
thing.
or in utero even. And I tapped the mom and I go, look at your daughter. And she goes, oh my, I wish I had a video camera. I go, oh my goodness, that is so cool.
She's like a little, like a sprout.
Yes, she was growing. And then typically after kids get adjusted, they will either poop, they'll have a bowel movement, something, they'll go home and sleep. Typically, sometimes they'll be more alert, but that's a good sign. What it is a reset. Their nervous system is resetting and balancing. Think of it like that. With adults, I've had a couple, 3 women as of late this last month. Really cool, coming in for different things. Pain brings people into a chiropractor generally. You do get wellness patients like, hey, I've just had chiropractic, I love it. But I had 3 women more recently, one for dizziness, one for some neck issues, and one for, I can't remember the third one, but they all it was weird, within 2 weeks, all of them were able to get off their blood pressure medication.
Wow.
And the reason is oftentimes because we're affecting the vascular system. And so stress, what does stress do? It does this. Most people that get on high blood pressure medication doesn't just come on overnight. It's usually years of different stressors, or it could be lifestyle. But they were able to get off their medications or blood pressure medications because you're vasodilating when you adjust. Your body increases blood flow throughout the spine, the nervous system, the brain, what have you. So it was just interesting. In that amount of time, 3 women were able to just happen to have doctor's appointments. One went in because she was dizzy, and I said, you know what? You're on blood pressure medication. You've been getting adjusted for 3 months now. You should go talk to your doctor and just see if your medication needs to be adjusted, because oftentimes when people are getting regular care, their body starts working better and they've got a sufficient blood flow. They're not wound up all the time. They're relaxed. Their anxiety goes down. They're moving their neck. So obviously, when you are not obviously, a lot of people don't know, but when you can't move your neck very far, it has an effect on your vascularity to your heart, your lungs, vital organs here. So they're moving better, and so their blood pressure goes down, or they're just mentally in a better place. Yeah. So that's very cool. So a lot of times that's happening, and just when you start seeing families, especially spouses, you can have an effect on their relationship, because when you're not feeling good, are you in a good mood or a bad mood?
Right.
You're cranky. Nobody wants to be around you. Your spouse is like, dude, go get some help, I hate to say get on your Prozac or something, but they do. And when I start seeing spouses, generally the woman comes in first, and then she's like, my husband needs to come in. And I go, sure, great, okay. And it usually takes a little bit longer, but they start coming in, oftentimes together. And there's just a difference. Like, I'll ask usually a couple weeks in, I go, so what does John say? How's he been doing? Or she's like, man, you know what? He is not cranky when he comes home from work. He is not complaining about his back pain, because you're in a better mood. You're feeling better. That relief is there. That tension, that wind up is not there. We call it a subluxation. It's a stress on the body that makes you less than who you're meant to be. And so it's really cool when you see that. Because there's obviously a lot. I'm not saying I'm a therapist, but a lot of times I am. But it's fun to have that effect on spouses too. So to see that, oh, my wife's not as cranky, or I'm sleeping better, and John's not snoring as much, or just life is fun again because we're not so aching, pain, and things like that. So those are some of the things that I do get, and there's more, but that does make it refreshing. It really does. When you're in a true realm of wellness, chiropractic care, you get those stories. So that's what I enjoy. I want more of that. I want those miracles. You got to work a little harder for them these days because there's so much. I shouldn't say that. They're easy.
Yeah, bring it, manifest it.
I know. I really am big about that. And I work with that with patients too. I really do. I should say with people, because they talk about their pain or getting old. I go, it's not about getting old. Granted, there are some things that change when we mature. We do heal slower. We've got more of a life to deal with all the ailments, micro trauma, macro trauma, big stuff, little stuff. But I don't let them get on that bandwagon. Oh, it's just my age. I go, no. We're not going there. We're going to focus on what you want to do. We always come up with 3 or 5 goals for people during their exam. Like, what do you want to do? Oh, I work through it anyway. No, specifically, what do you want to do different that you're not doing right now? And we try and hit those goals when we do their re-exams. We touch base on those things. And that's fun. And people don't realize, even that's the subtle things. It's huge. It's really huge. When somebody realizes, like, I don't sleep at night. You don't sleep at night? What does that mean? Oh, I don't know. I get 2 hours. Wow. Okay. You only get 2 hours of sleep. You're not repairing. You need 7 or 8 hours. I don't care if you think you need 4. You need time to heal and recover. And then when they start to get that extra hour, extra 2, extra 3, baby steps, then they're like, wow, like, I didn't know this was possible. And it changes them mentally, not just physically. So those are the things I look forward to. Yeah. That's why I get adjusted. That's why I walk my talk. And I think that's important when picking out a practitioner, any practitioner. Make sure they're doing what they're telling you to do. So,
what are some ways that chiropractic care has helped you, especially being an athlete?
I think, honestly, I just did 5Ks and stuff. I didn't even do an Ironman.
No big deal.
But I gotta say,
no big deal,
it was
girls.
fun. It was my transition. But honestly, I feel like I mean, I'm 51. I feel like chiropractic has really helped me along my transition and aging. I really do. I'm not on anything. I haven't had any surgeries. I've had injuries, and I go to chiropractic. I do. Um, I've learned a lot with nutrition and lifestyle changes on a holistic level. I have friends and colleagues I see that are naturopathic doctors. Those are my go-to people, um, versus going to an ER or a medical doctor. I have a medical doctor, one that's open to alternative methods.
That's important.
I think it's important. I think it's vital. I think it's great to have a medical doctor in your pocket. You'll need one at some point. I shouldn't say that possibly, but it's good to have one, right? If you have those emergencies, I can't perform surgery. Um, but I want one that's open to my lifestyle as well, my choices in those alternative ways. I think that's important. I think we all need a team of healers to go through life. I really do. And if you're going to wait till retirement, my advice is don't, because this is my own personal opinion. I've really tracked it over the years that those people that are retired of retirement age and now they want to take care of themselves, they need at least a year of transition of care to unfold all of that junk, all of that stuff they stuffed down for 40 years in their job. And they get through it, but there's a learning curve when you retire, holistically, health wise, paying attention to dysfunction, not just pain. And a lot of people go, I've dealt with this for 40 years. And I go, yeah, you haven't dealt with this for 40 years. You've put up with it for 40 years. Yeah. So if you can get in that way of thinking now, even when you're 30s and 40s and even 50s, you still can make some great changes well into your 70s and 80s and maybe 90s. Honestly, I heard a gal the other day. She was a doctor of, I can't remember, but podcast. She said, with all the technology or with where we are in life right now, we should be living to 120 years of age. Yeah. We really should be, with the advancements. Right. I shouldn't say the technology per se, but with what we know, but because, of the manipulation with foods and drugs, and I'm going to categorize vaccines in there, it's changing our genetics. It has changed our genetics. It's changing our livelihood. And it's not for the better. And that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, we're on the same page. I mean, that's all I'll say about that. Yeah.
So I think everyone needs a team of wellness people holistically that are going to help you be as healthy as you can. And our slogan is your health is your wealth. I love that because you can replace parts, but God gave us all of this for a reason, and right. You want to keep them as long as you can.
Yeah.
So
you said that you have patients fill out like some goals that they want to achieve, like more sleep or.
Yeah. I ask them. I do. I ask them, or if they feel I should get to have them fill that out. That should be part of the new patient application. That's a good idea. But I learned that from a colleague I followed who's kind of a mentor. And he's like, get some specific goals and check those off. Don't just get, I want to be out of pain. Everybody wants to be out of pain.
Right.
But I can't guarantee that.
Right.
So get some specific goals and meet those goals. So, yeah.
What are some common goals that people...
Sleep is common. Yeah. Nobody's sleeping nowadays. I mean, and it's really too bad. Sleep is a big one. Weight loss is always one. I would say also what comes up is being able to be with their grandkids, be active with their grandkids. That's a big one. Another one would be getting off medication. Everyone can, I don't want to be on medication, but ultimately they get on medication because they hurt, and that's what they know. So if they do, I go, by law, I can't take you off medication, but let's work towards you having that conversation with your doctor, and let's get you making some healthier lifestyle so we can change your course of where you're at right now. So those are some of the main ones, I would say. Just getting more active. A lot of people have desk jobs or work from home. It's a thing now. And so getting more movement and doing some different activities. I want to go golfing. I want to be able to still hike 2 miles. I can only do a half a mile. Okay, well, let's baby step it to a mile, and then let's go 1.5 miles. And then, anything like that. Those movement, sleep, medication, getting off of that. And those are the big ones. Travel, of course, always. I don't go anywhere anymore because I don't feel good or I can't walk, just here to there. I go, well, maybe we get you to just travel to Taylorsville or go somewhere close, and then go big on a plane or something like that. So those would be some of the ones I get. Yeah. So, but the ones that hit home are the ones where, you get somebody that can't lift up their grandkid because my back hurts or my knee. So those are nice when you can meet those goals for them. That's pretty cool.
And is the back the most common, or would you say it's the neck, or what are some things people should really focus on?
Obviously, we get people with probably equal neck and back headaches. But I always evaluate a little bit everything. Focus on their primary, and then I kind of go also, well, did you know these nerves go into the stomach that are in the low back, and kind of branch out just to give them a little information that their organs or glands can be signs of what started. How do I say this? There could have been dysfunction there prior to their pain in their back because the nerves are related. So everything's related in a chiropractor. So we'll pay attention to the main concern. But I typically assess everything.
Which is good.
It's
I
good.
like that.
Everything's connected.
That.
I know. So yeah. But neck and back, those are very common. Headaches, vertigo. Yeah, those are common. And headaches are not normal, but a lot of people don't realize that. Oh, I've always had headaches.
Right. They just kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
So now that you're here in Chester and we're happy to have you, what are some things that you would like for the community to know, or any closing thoughts?
I think just that, we're here. There's 2 of us, so we're Monday through Thursday. I know it's going to be busier coming the summer and spring. We have a lot of people that have transitioned and moved elsewhere. Just that we're accepting patients. We're a wellness office. We love seeing people to help live better lives, not just if you're in pain, and to continue that health. So from the very young to the very mature, there's really no age we discrepant. What's the word?
Discrepancy.
My brain. Yeah, discrepancy. I don't know. Don't discriminate against. There you go. There's the word.
It's late in the day, you guys.
Yeah, there's the word. We're on the corner here in Chester, right across from the sheriff, behind the dentist's office. We're kind of right off the hub of Main Street.
First Ave, not First Street.
Yes, First Ave and Willow.
First Street earlier. My own fault.
So yeah, I'm just looking forward to the change in season and seeing how things go this summer, and just continue to do what we're doing, being a little more involved in the community. So winter we kind of just focused on seeing patients, but I think now it's time to kind of introduce ourselves to the community. So we'll be doing that and getting involved with the chamber and some other things.
Well, we're really excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
And what's the best way for someone to book an appointment?
They can call our number. It's 530-258-2424. And then we do have a website. Almanor Center for Wellbeing is the hub here. It's almanorhealth.com. We are on Instagram and Facebook as well. It's either Rabo Health and Wellness, Dr. Dina Rabo. But you'll find us. I mean, we're on the only chiropractor here in town right now. We're on the corner. So just give us a call. You'll talk with Samantha and we'll get you scheduled.
I'm going to schedule an appointment myself right now. So thank you, girls, for watching. And I will link all of Dr. Rabo's information. I said that right.
Yeah, you got it.
I'll link it all in the description. And thank you guys for watching. And be sure to subscribe to support women in business everywhere. Thank you, girls.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right, you did awesome.
That was cool. That was fun. Wait, that flew by. I looked. I was like, oh, it's 5:45.